Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, and wherever you're listening. Joined with me, as always, Mr. Chris Cute.
How are you, everybody?
And Mr. Joe Whitaker.
You're right, Tom, yeah.
And some people call him a newbie. Personally, I just think he's been hanging around for far too long. It's Jamie Page.
How you doing?
We also have a very special guest on this week. I'm really excited about this because I don't really know you that well, to be honest, Paul, only from what I've seen on YouTube. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you this evening. Paul Jackman from Jackman Works. How you doing, Paul?
Right. I'm just here to see Jamie.
Oh, bless you. Are you team Scroll Store?
I'm not sure.
Let's see if we can sway in one way or the other during the show. Alan's got some technical issues. I think he's rushing around somewhere in Canada trying to find a computer that works at the moment. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll be joining us shortly. This week's shout-outs and thank yous, as always, very quickly. Steve French from Wooden Stuff, The Red Smith, Jim Dockrell, Ragtie, Crosscut Creations, a new one from, I've written any Unix moment, but I think it was Andy Unix moment. Andrew McQuillan, Carl Kolonowski from KK Make, and KSFWG. So big thank you to those guys for interacting with us, and don't forget everyone else who hit the like button, etc., over on YouTube and the various platforms where you can find us. Today's podcast. Teeth back in. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by the Toolmasters Association. Safe, build and learn. To find out more, visit izzyswan.com/Toolmasters. By Yorkshire Grit, the wood turners abrasive paste. For more information, visit www.yorkshire-grit.com. And also our very good friend Chad over at Mancrafting. I believe, Jamie, we're still doing a giveaway for that one, or is that month? No, that's monthly, isn't it? So you'll have some...
The what? Sorry,
I'm lost now. You're going to do the results of the giveaway at the end of the show.
Yeah, the end of the show. Yeah.
Excellent. So good stuff. Well, links to all those our sponsors available on the website, makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors. Chris, do we have any random listener questions outstanding or?
We do, but according to last week, you didn't want me to bring them up because we're going to do a Q&A show pretty soon. So I'll hang on to the questions. So
good stuff. And actually, I really want to get stuck in with Paul because I'm really looking forward to.
Wait. Rephrase that.
Mind out of the gutter, Chris. Come on, get with the program. Come on.
Okay, man. I'm sorry. I just did. Whatever. I got comfortable for a second. Anyway, hi Paul. How are you, buddy?
I'm open for anything.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh God!
That didn't really help that much. Cool. So, Paul, I mean, I've already sort of fessed up to. I don't know you, certainly not as well as Jamie, but I have been following your channel for quite some time, and recently you just hit quite an important milestone, did you not?
Yeah, the 100,000 subscribers a couple of weeks ago.
Awesome! Congratulations, man. Well deserved.
Woo! Well deserved.
Little applause here. Yeah, Jackman Works. Obviously, it doesn't fail.
I mean, I'll be honest. I spent about an hour and a half before the show catching up on some of your more recent videos and watching those. And 100,000 subscribers for your channel really is. It should be more than that because your edit, some of the stuff you build, just the way you run your channel is outstanding, and it's fun to watch as well. But actually, I was telling Chris before the show, I started off watching your channel, and I think you were 106,000 subscribers according to the little kind of thing number counter. By the time I'd finished, it was up to 108,000.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was a glitch or whether there was just a mass descent of new subscribers on your channel, but literally in an hour and a half, you'd gone up 2,000 subscribers.
I mean, the latest video, the pallet shot glasses are pretty hot right now, so those are helping me out quite a bit. So it was maybe partially a glitch and partially some real stuff in there.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the questions that I want to talk about the pallets. I know it's kind of a topic that's been floating around for a while, but and more recently. But those shot glasses, how on earth did you manage to not have some kind of mental breakdown making 100 shot glasses individually like that? But I mean, I was like, surely he's not going to make them. There's going to be some kind of batch manufacturing process.
Oh,
You didn't. You just turned individually after you'd.
Huh. I think we're losing Richard, and you know what? Because I don't think Richard was coming through on the feed on YouTube either. Jamie kind of alerted me to that. And Paul, I guess what he was trying to was I wasn't quite following what Richard was going to ask. Does anybody want to try to read Richard's mind and finish that question for him?
I think he was basically saying is, how the hell did you make 100 shot glasses without losing your mind?
Well, yeah, he claimed I didn't lose my mind, but I was putting gloves on my boot and stuff in the video, so he might not be completely 100%
Yeah, very
correct.
true. Very true.
Oh, that's right, because that video was kind of sponsored by Carolina, wasn't it?
Yeah, Carolina boots.
Awesome.
So, had to keep them clean.
he stuck a rubber glove over the top of him. That's awesome. Richard, are you back with us?
Well, I never went away. I thought I was a bit surprised. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
No, I can't hear you.
Phew! Thank goodness for that, Jamie.
So Jamie answers no. Oh my God.
So yeah, why go for the individual sort of approach rather than as more of a sort of a manufacturing process in terms of that? Just purely out of curiosity.
Sure. I tried a couple other techniques because I initially was going to just have the big pallet sticks and turn those down into like a giant dowel, essentially, and then shape each shot glass, within that dowel. When I tried to do that, the center of it was getting too much vibration just because it was too slender, so it was shaking around a bit. And I did one that way, and it was just too much chipping and stuff, and I ended up chopping them all up individually. So it was like 3-inch chunks out of each stick, 100 and something times. And it actually ended up being about the same amount of time as if I was like trying to, mass produce them out of one stick.
That kind of, it makes sense when you've got that sort of long dowel. You get obviously right in the middle, it's going to be vibrating up and down.
Right.
Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had some people suggest too, like getting like a custom iron made or something, like a duplicator or whatever. But it was a straight line, from one side to the other. So all I had to do was set the diameter on the wide side and then set the diameter on the smaller side and connect the two dots, and that was it. So it really wasn't super complicated. It was just very repetitive.
Time consuming and a bit laborious, no doubt.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I was when I was watching it on the lathe, I was thinking, and this probably would have been like totally wrong to do, but I was thinking I might have considered sticking a step drill in my tailstock on my lathe and feeding the step drill into each one of those shot glasses. That way I wouldn't have to carve each one out. But you got it done. I mean, I don't even know if that would work, but I was like, I don't know if I could have done. I mean, Paul, I think after 10 of them, I probably would have been looking for a gun. You did to shoot myself with, and you did 100 of them. That's amazing.
Of course, the flip side of that is it's not like they're staircase spindles where they're going to be sat next to each other forever, and any discrepancy between one and another is going to be obvious.
Right.
They're going to be sent to the four winds and roughly the right, if it looks right, it is right, kind of a tolerance on that, I guess. But yeah, wow. I mean, I certainly would never have had the patience to do into double figures, I don't think.
The funny part is that you guys didn't see, I made about 150 of them because it's pallet wood, so sometimes it's a little bit splintery. So I ended up with about 100 good ones and 50 bad ones. So there was even more than what you said.
Oh my God!
Salt in the wound, as they say.
Yeah.
And I would be neglecting my responsibilities here, bringing up the community topics here. But I know for a fact those were accepted really well over on Reddit, weren't they?
I got a lot of fans over there.
Yeah. That is to say, for those of you listening, Paul caught some flack from some folks over on Reddit for using pallet wood in a shot glass, and I still don't quite understand that, but I did find it rather humorous.
I mean, you and me both. Although I was trying to, inform and correct the commenters, which maybe wasn't the best idea. But
Just adding fuel to the fire.
yeah, apparently that does not work.
Brian Bale says he wants one of them shot glasses so he can drink out of it and then die.
Just stamp the bottom of it MB and send it to him, Pat. And say, I dare you.
So if anyone's kind of not following this or does, I mean, I don't understand it fully because I don't work with pallet wood very often, and that's for another reason which might come out in the conversation later. But do you want to just explain very quickly, very briefly to the ignorant like myself that pallet wood's not just pallet wood, is it?
Sure. Yeah, so some pallet wood is treated. It's a small portion of it, really, and people learn that fact and sometimes, assume that it's almost all the pallets are chemically treated. It's, whichever ones you look at the stamp, they're all stamped, MB means methyl bromide, which means it's a chemical fumigation. So it's like an insecticide treatment, essentially. A lot of them are heat treated, which is an HT stamp, which means it's just baked in an oven, essentially, and they're
kiln dried, basically. Yeah, and that's it. And the other concern is whether there's chemicals spilt on it from repetitive use. But if you get them from places like a grocery store or a tile shop that has custom sized pallets, they're usually only single use or a couple times. You can figure it out if you just take a few steps and a few precautions if they're safe or not.
Sure. I mean, that was going to be one of my comments, actually. Presumably, if you're shipping, I don't know, engine oil or machine parts, then you can use wood. But if you're shipping cornflakes, then presumably you're not going to put some harmful chemical in the packaging because I'm guessing there's loads of rules and regulations for pallets as there is for, food manufacture and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and a lot of those, if you look at a grocery store, you see like the red and the blue colored ones. And those are, specifically owned by certain pallet recyclers, and they, pick them up and bring them back to the manufacturer. And I know the blue ones at least are exclusively heat treated. I'm not sure about the red ones, but there's definitely some patterns there if you know what you're looking for.
Kind of a bit of common sense, I guess, involved, as well as some kind of factual homework to be done.
Yeah, exactly. But Reddit loves a bandwagon, so I don't want to kill their fun.
Before we actually drift away from the whole pallet wood thing, you tend to use it a lot. So is there any particular reason why you tend to drift towards using pallet wood in your projects? Is it like the look of it, or because I'm free, or what is it?
I don't know. I don't really like pallets. Maybe it's because I use them so often that I don't like them.
Let's see.
It's a lot of it is the reclaiming. It's free material. It's stuff that oftentimes where I get them, they're trying to throw out the pallets because they don't know what else to do with them. So I'm saving it from the trash, and kind of stemming from the reclaiming is it always creates a unique project just based on the material alone. So. Like my workbenches were made 100% from pallets, and it looks very special compared to something that you would build from, lumberyard material.
It really does. And it's always a talking piece as well to actually say to somebody, like, this is what these came from, kind of thing. So
right. It's good for boosting engagement too, positive and negative,
That's it, yeah.
Any publicity is good publicity.
Exactly.
You've also got quite a few videos on your channel. What one would you say is one of your favorite videos? I'm going to assume it's the table saw handle video.
I'd say the video itself, my favorite's probably the bowl that I made up in Quebec with Mr. Pat Lapp.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that.
He filmed. That's all handheld shots by Pat filming for me, and I edited it all together. And I just really like how that one came out.
You mean the hat?
The hat.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. That's like answering the question, which one is your favorite kid? I mean, you either love them all or you hate them all. I mean, it's
the latest one, isn't it? That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't made from pallets, so that helps.
No. Well, you know, I just knew that I just knew that Paul's channel was going somewhere because I remember seeing his second video that he ever put on YouTube, and I believe your second video you ever put on YouTube was a wooden toilet bowl lid, and I went, you know what? There's nowhere for him to go but up from here. So I mean, if he's gonna start if he's gonna start at the toilet, he may as well end with 100,000 fucking subscribers. What the heck?
Yes, Sterling actually just mentioned that in the chat. That was the pallet upcycle challenge. That was my first entry ever. And my second video ever. So
I remember that, and I was like, and I went back to confirm it because I had to go back to your channel to look. I said, wasn't his first or second video something to do with the toilet? And I went, oh yeah, it was. That's right. I like that.
Yeah, so moral of the story, it's all Sterling's fault.
There you go, Sterling.
It's Sterling's fault that I'm here as well, so I can kind of relate.
Surely that's reason to be Team Router.
But Bales wants to know what's next. Pallet wood teething rings for babies, you monster.
That would get.
I'm tempted by that idea. Pat Lap made a baby rattle, and like the thumbnail is the baby holding the rattle like by her mouth. And I really want to make one out of pallet wood and just have a thumbnail, just to throw up on Reddit.
Thanks, Bales. And the internet explodes tomorrow, everybody.
That'd be brilliant.
You could always make a salad spoon again.
Yeah. I have a couple of other pallet ideas that may or may not happen, but we'll see. They're kind of bigger, long-term projects, so hopefully I can make it happen.
I've got another question about favorites again. You've had quite a few different shops since your time over YouTube. Have you got one that stands out as being a favorite?
I mean, the Rhode Island shop, hands down, which that was a couple months ago. Well, more than that now. It's gone by quick. But this summer we moved from Rhode Island to DC, and we were in Rhode Island for 1 year. That was it. But that was amazing. It was an old mill building. It was an old textile mill, and they renovated it into a bunch of art studios. So I was sharing it with, painters and sculptors, and there was a guitar making shop and all sorts of stuff. And, it was a river that ran right behind it. The river used to have like a wheel that partially powered the mill, at least. And
water wheel. Oh, what a cool atmosphere. That must have been fun.
That was amazing.
Now you've moved a couple times. Since you've been on YouTube? This is now is it your third or your fourth shop, Paul?
This is shop number 3.
Shop number 3. Because I remember your underground dungeon was your first one, right?
Yeah, the subterranean shop.
Yeah, and you've gone back and revisited that on occasion too. That's kind of.
I have. just gotta remember to be happy for what I got.
You got to, and you know what? I guess after a while it becomes instinctive. But I mean, you got to be 6 foot something, and in that place you had to remember to duck a lot, didn't you? Because that was a pretty low ceiling you had there.
Oh yeah. I'm a few inches over 6 feet, and the bottom of the floor joists were right at 6 feet. So if you go back and look at the videos, my tools were like strategically located so I could stand between the floor joists.
6 foot seems more.
How tall are you, Joe? How tall are you, Joe?
Stretching room there.
Joe can do that in a playhouse.
Yeah, that place was built for him.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're not bringing me up. I'm not exactly. I think the only person I'm taller than actually is Matt Cremona, and I think I only got him by a half an inch. So whatever.
But half an inch makes all the difference.
That's what she said.
Oh my life! Am I coming through all right now, guys?
Seems
well.
So.
We've always been able to see you. I don't know if the folks on YouTube can see you now. I will go back and take a look for you.
Well, unfortunately for you guys, but
yeah, it seems to be coming through over on YouTube now.
Oh, that's all right. Maybe it's a YouTube thing then. But one thing I wanted to ask you, Paul, about the keeping with the pallet theme, is it kind of a sort of a moral, ethical thing with the recycling, or is it kind of financial in terms of the reuse of materials? Because I guess if you're taking pallets from, say, a warehouse or a factory or something like that, you're actually saving the factory money because they haven't then got to pay for the disposal costs. So presumably you're getting that for a good rate. So or is it kind of a mixture of the two?
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit of both. I don't know. I guess I focus most on kind of the moral thoughts behind it, and not cutting down trees and using new material if I don't have to, and that comes through as other reclaimed stuff besides the pallets as well. I try and use almost exclusively reclaimed when I can. I have a little bit of a fetish with plywood, so that doesn't help me out. But I mean, financially too, that it's a big deal because a lot of the pallets, almost exclusively all the pallets I get are hardwood, and I get them all for free. So to buy cherry and oak and maple and all that stuff from the store is not cheap. So if I can make a bench or make shot glasses or whatever it is out of hardwood lumber and make it unique and then sell it, all that money that would have gone towards buying materials instead goes towards my labor costs and goes in my pocket. Even if it does take more time, like I have a lot of people that whine in the comments about, I can't believe you take all that time to tear apart the pallets. It's like, it's not that bad. And the time that I am taking to tear them apart, I'm getting paid for. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be my next. Sorry, Chris. I was going to actually mention the time it takes because that's one of the reasons I don't like using not just pallets, but just a lot of things that's been used before, because there's always nails in there, and it's the time to go through. And for me, I'm impatient. I want to get on with things. It's a bit of a gnaw. So I kind of can sympathise a little bit with people that raise those points, shall we say? I guess the way you raise them is down to the individual, but. Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to say is that I would put the time in to pull things apart like that if I could find the pallets that Paul finds, because he finds some amazing wood that just gets nailed into a pallet. That is like, why would they use like hard maple in a pallet? It's like, and he's finding this stuff. Where do you get these? How do you find that, Pat? Because I'm Paul, because I don't. Sorry, I didn't mean the Freudian slip there. But I've looked around maybe it's just the area I live in, and I have yet to find anything that isn't made out of just cheap pine.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of searching around. If you look for places that carry heavy stuff, so like a tile or granite place, they are almost always hardwood because they have to be to hold the weight loads.
Got it.
The place that I found here in DC that had a bunch was a wire manufacturing place. And those are pretty heavy too. And seems like they go through pallets pretty quick. They have a huge stack that was sitting outside. And then, if you saw the most recent video, if you just find the right speed bump, it's not so bad as far as a labor cost to get them apart.
I'll take that home if you don't want to pick it up. Okay, great.
That was really funny. When I was watching that, I was actually going to ask you, did you just drive up and down the car park like 4 or 5 times, film the same thing, and then go off and do it? And then the next thing you're at your house and you unload it and you look like, huh? What happened here? They were like full of pallets a minute ago.
It was funny because I had a couple of comments that like were just in disbelief that actually worked, and I can't figure out if they're sarcastic or if they actually thought that it worked. So I just told them, "Well, you just got to drive fast enough; it'll work. Don't worry about it."
get exactly the right speed, and then of course they all stack properly as well.
It's got to be a big speed bump and just go really fast. Close your eyes
and hope for the best.
Yeah, and I don't accept any liability for that decision.
But you do have an affiliate link to a garage that will do new shock absorbers and suspension parts. And...
Right. It's all a racket.
Yeah. Please post your concerns to Paul Jackman on Reddit. Thank you. There we go.
Via Pet Lover.
Via Pet Lover, exactly.
So you do this the YouTube thing for a living, don't you, Paul?
I do. Yeah, I've been doing it a little bit over a year now.
Okay, and I mean your channel's a little bit older than a year. and I think originally one of the earliest videos that I can remember, just off the top of my head, was when you built your trailer.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's within the year or just outside. I think it's a little over a year, or maybe even more, the way my memory is.
Yeah, I think that was almost 3 years ago, actually, for that one.
Yep.
So a little over a year then. You were then you sprayed Jackman carpentry, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So were you doing? What is your background? Going back that far, were you doing like contractor work, carpentry? Do you have a background in making, or kind of where I'm going is how did you get into this, where we are now, from where, what kind of led you through that transition and to where you are now?
Sure. That's a good eye to start off. That you caught that. So Jackman Carpentry is something that's the name I came up with actually back in high school when I started kind of doing side work, and I needed a name for my business. I started in trade school. I went to a vocational high school. So for 4 years, I studied both woodworking, like cabinet making type stuff, and also remodeling and new house construction, framing, kind of all that spans between. And my business was, I did a lot of deck building originally, and also a little bit of woodworking. So it was, more of a mix of both. And kind of as time went on, the framing and remodeling stuff dropped off a little more, and the woodworking stuff picked up a little bit more. So I figured that, a new name would be appropriate. And that was, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago or so, and changed over from Jackman Carpentry to Jackman Works, and kind of, leaves option open, because I did a little bit of metalworking too. So it just kind of a little bit more broad and fit me better.
So is the metalworking and the welding more of a recent sort of addition to your kind of, you welded up the legs for a block table desk that you did?
Yep. Yeah, I did that desk. I haven't done a whole lot of welding just because I haven't really had the facilities for it. Back in high school, I did a little bit because we got to, integrate with there was other shops. There was like a boat building shop and automotive. They both did welding. So I learned a little bit there, and I did a little bit out at college too. I studied civil engineering, and we made like a model bridge that we welded together. So I just haven't had the right place to weld. Like the basement shop just wasn't appropriate for it. And even the shop in Rhode Island, like I had smoke detectors in there, so I didn't want to trip those. And that's why you'll notice I was welding outside for that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is kind of hard to put a metalworking shop inside a woodworking shop, and and not have a few fears about sparks and fires and things of that nature. So you almost have to go outside to do that. Because I've thought about doing it too, Paul. Because I don't have the experience you do, but I have a small amount of experience in metalwork and welding and things of that nature. And I'd really love to get back into it, but the only place I've got to do it would be outside, and with Mother Nature. And not that that's a problem. It's just that it's not real conducive to. I don't know.
It's hard to mix the two together. And then if you're outside and you're using like an electric welder and the wind's blowing, like not good. Does not help at all.
Yeah, it doesn't help the shielded gases stay very shielded for very long. It's like, you got a 30-mile-per-hour wind trying to weld with shielded glasses.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to work.
It gets messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well use flux. The heck.
I've got a couple of questions here. The first one is, how did you come up with the name Jackman Works?
I don't know. I guess I was playing around with a lot of names. I guess that's just kind of I don't know, a play on words. Like the Department of Public Works is kind of like Parks Department or whatever, kind of the I don't know, state run or town run utility that kind of fixes everything.
Yeah.
Spongin Works, Sean Rubino, he's another one.
Yeah.
I liked that name.
Did you kind of change it from Jackman Carpentry because you didn't want to be stuck to one material, if you like?
Yeah, and a lot of people, like when I named it Jackman Carpentry, I kind of thought of carpentry as like an overarching thing that included framing and woodworking. But I found that a lot of people thought that carpentry was more just framing and house building type of stuff. So I thought that I was kind of, just didn't have the name quite right. So that's a big reason for it. Yeah.
Question 2 or 3 is boxers or briefs?
Oh, God.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, there's an answer we haven't had before. Yes, Jamie. The answer is yes.
Okay, fair enough. And here's a question that's going to be coming from
Points
not
to Paul
just
for
me,
being original.
not just me, from quite a lot of people actually. A lot of people want to know when the Packcast podcast is going to be happening.
I mean, we've been in the middle of some contract negotiations for a couple of years now, and Pat's quite a stickler, and it has proven to be difficult. But we're showing a little bit of hope. Maybe sometime we'll be able to make it work.
All right.
See,
Oh no.
Hey, let me translate that. Paul Jackman. I mean, Pat Lapp's just having a hard time getting poutine thrown into the whole friggin' deal. Isn't he?
Look who just showed up.
What's up, Pat?
Himself.
And he's got no mic.
He's got no microphone.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about you.
He's turned. He got no mic, Pat. It's probably understand him even better now.
Well, yeah. Actually, this is perfect English for Pat. Well, okay, we can wait.
One word. Shot glass.
One word.
He's got
One
his pal.
Don't do it.
I was going to say, don't
drink
do it.
from the no.
Get him up A&E quick.
Quick.
That's why
Get
he's now
him out of the emergency room.
He drank out of a pallet wood shot glass.
I'm waiting for him to fall off his chair now.
Yeah, is he still alive?
Get the antidote.
He's having difficulty. You always rely on Pat, can't you?
We can't even hear him now. Is that bad?
I know.
Pat Lapp, the only person to turn up to a podcast with no microphone. So for those of you who can't actually understand what on earth is going on, Pat's just turned up. He's taken the plunge. He's trying to drink out of one of.
Does it work now?
Yep.
Oh, and he's talking.
Hey!
Hey.
So let's do this again. How are you guys?
Hey, you know, we were just asking about the Packcast podcast.
It's already live. We made 3 episodes so far. Right, Paul?
Yeah, I'm not sure where they are, but they're there somewhere.
You know, as much as you guys have talked about it, you've got to do at least one. Because I just want to hear this. I think
we did one on Izzy Swan's birthday, and we sang him happy birthday, and we counted that as an episode. So,
oh, okay. What is it, like 2 minutes long now?
If that, yeah.
The shortest podcast in history is the Packcast and Packcast podcast.
Say that 3 times fast.
No, I know. I'm not going to go there.
Packcast podcast.
I can't work with that. They're just no.
Oh dear.
I think it's awesome that Pat showed up. We haven't seen Pat on this show since Halloween of 2016, I think.
Yeah,
Well, he turned out with his Jamie Page mask.
I don't have any mask, right?
He's getting ready for a bleep.
Oh no, I wasn't doing that.
Joe's got his notebook out for the timestamps.
I know, I was expecting a lot more. I haven't had to do anything yet, so it should be okay.
Yeah, Pat, you got to give Joe something to do.
Oh, don't tempt him.
Pat, you got to give Joe something to do. Like, I don't know, put a bleep in somewhere.
I can't believe that without me maple syrup. I need to drink a shot.
That'll do. How did you two become such good friends anyway? Like, different countries, same continent, kind of. So, how did you get to know each other so well?
By teaching Pat English, right?
Right.
Oh, so it's your fault.
Yeah.
Are you planning to start the lessons?
My apologies.
He's not a good teacher, though, as you see.
I keep trying, but it's like he's got something in his mouth. He sounds funny.
It's poutine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's like got poutine in his mouth.
Wasn't it Pat contacted you, Paul, for a collaboration?
More than likely, yeah. Yeah, one of us reached out to the other one, and we just got to talking back and forth, and we're just a little bit too much alike. And he was using Google Translate on one screen and talking with me on the other screen. And I didn't even know it.
Yeah, that's true.
He tells me he doesn't speak English, and I'm like, your English is pretty good. I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah.
I mean, before you knew it, you were actually dating a bearded French Canadian. It's like, oh my god!
Yeah.
It's a bigger commitment than I thought I was getting into.
I've been to those chat rooms. Yeah, actually, I shouldn't have admitted that, should I? Okay, never mind.
Probably best not to, Chris.
Yeah, I'll leave it alone. Sorry, carry on.
Oh, dude.
When we met for the first time, we were both shy. I remember arriving at his parking lot and just look at him, point him, and he pointed me. And we was like, "Oh hi." That was really love. We were, I mean, yeah.
And then we went walking through like a 1700 graveyard, holding hands and skipping around. So it didn't take too long.
I picture you guys in the Wizard of Oz walking through the field of poppies towards the Emerald City, hand in hand, skipping. Anyway,
it was that, but in a Salem graveyard with witches underground.
But you guys just got together. You saw each other in New York, Maker Faire, New York, did you not? How was that?
Yeah, last weekend.
That was really fun. Yeah, it was nice to meet some new peoples, and of course my Paul Jackman. That was really cool. I didn't care very much about the Maker Faire. It was really for me meeting new peoples, and yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it this week. I didn't end up actually seeing a whole lot of what was actually there. I'd spent most of the time just talking with people.
That was going to be my, and it's only 2 hours away for me to actually drive to that Maker Faire. And I just, there's nothing really about Maker Faire well, personally for me, and I'm just speaking for myself, that really I want to go and look at Maker Faire. It would have been all about just seeing the people there. So, yeah, I kind of am envious, and I'm sorry I missed that. You guys rock. And you didn't post enough pictures. That's all I'm going to say.
There was a big shortage with the whole pictures. I mean, you specifically requested, didn't you, Chris?
Yeah,
there weren't many.
I did, but the ones that were given were actually good. I liked the Ask a Maker photos that showed up. Those were rather humorous. What was behind that? Was that seriously a booth that somebody was supposed to stand behind, and so the general public could walk up and ask a maker something?
I guess so, but yeah.
That was great.
I didn't have any question though.
Not a lot of asking was going on.
What did Daniel Hardew ask you?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that too.
What's that?
What did Daniel Hardew ask you?
It was something beard related, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember. I was drunk.
That's your answer for everything.
Stock answer.
Yeah.
So with Maker Faire, I mean, I might be getting completely the wrong. I've never been to one, so I could well be getting the wrong end of the stick. It strikes me as a kind of a cross between a trade show where companies are showing off their wares and a carnival with people. You have like the fire-breathing dragon and the dancers and the music makers and things like that. Would that be anything close to a description? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty close. It's kind of a mix of that, and along with that, there's a lot of displays of just people, showing off stuff that they've built, just kind of random stuff. A lot of kids, showing off things that they're working on designing and stuff. And it's very electronics heavy in New York City.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought it was very electronics based as far as what was actually being out there, as far as the makers and the guys who are there, and that Arduinos and stuff like that. It's cool. I mean, that stuff's cool. It's just it's just not my alley. It's not like
I was a little disappointed with that. I was out at San Francisco Maker Faire earlier in the year as well, and that was a lot more kind of artsy stuff. There was some Burning Man people there. There was a blacksmith setup. They were forging like right on site, doing demonstrations, and there's a lot more variety. So I got a lot more out of that one than New York City.
Got it.
Okay. I mean, sometimes it can be. I mean, I guess the over overriding thing that you've got, the commonality is everyone there, regardless of whether they make music or they make fire-breathing dragons or they make metal stuff or wood stuff or electric stuff. There's kind of a common mentality and aptitude to want to create something, and that commonality can be a good avenue for inspiration and ideas. So you might take things from the Arduino world in terms of the way they do something or the case that they have into a process that you might have for a metal or a wooden project or something like that. I like going to completely different non-wood events.
That's
for sure.
And
you're saying it's basically a good melting pot, is what you.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
A source of ideas and inspiration. I mean, sometimes you come away with more ideas than you thought and less, but it's always good to have an open mind of those things, I guess.
Yeah, I find people too, they're very open there. It's a lot less closed off than, typically, walking down the street, you're not just going to start talking with somebody. I had a kid walk up to me, just start, chit chatting with me. I thought he knew me, because I'm a YouTube sensation, but he had no idea who I was.
and Paul, you're humble as hell too, which is great. I love that. I love that about you.
When he turned down his autograph, that's when he realised.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I mean, seriously, he walked up to me and just started talking just randomly about just making stuff and what do I do? And, I was talking with him, asking him what he does. And he had no idea who I was and just struck up a conversation. It was pretty cool.
That's got to be the best thing about those events. I presume it's a lot similar to going to see a stand-up comedian or going to a music concert. Everybody in that venue has all got that one thing in common. You're a fan of that comedian, a fan of that band or artist. Mm-hmm. So everyone at a maker fair or a convention, you can start up a conversation about making, and you're not going to get any weird, funny looks. Well, half the time anyway, but you can at least just carry on a conversation out of nowhere with a complete stranger. Yeah,
it depends on who you're with, I think. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the premise of it. A lot of these, and I'm just going to assume, because like I said, I've never been to a maker fair because it just never really appealed to me. But a lot of those these kind of get-togethers that we go to, it just seems like it's a the one thing that is always prevalent is everybody that's there is full of curiosity, and so a lot of questions get asked, and it's just. I think to go what Joe was saying, it's kind of different than going to a show where you all say, yeah, I everybody here today loves Billy Joel, and they don't stop and talk about their favorite memories with total complete strangers or ask questions. What poster of Billy do you have in your room? But at a show like this, people will, ask each other questions like that. Like that Paul mentioned that the kid walked up to him and started asking him about what he does. And, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's the cool thing too about the maker fairs in particular is it's a lot younger crowd, so they're very curious just by nature and kind of learning by themselves. Versus the like the woodworking show. No offense, Chris, but there's a lot of older guys there.
Thank you.
That's okay, Paul. I'll just go get my Metamucil and be right back.
He's going to turn around the Red Sox hat backwards.
No, wait, I can't get up right at the moment, so that'll have to wait.
What a dick. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's funny, like we were at the Atlanta Woodworking Show together, and the general crowd is kind of white hair, older guys, and then like all the YouTube crowd was all hanging around, and it's like a completely different crew, and all happy talking about the newest tools and techniques and just everything else, and that's it's a similar experience within that special core group and the Maker Faire people.
Well, Cole Jacobson's got white hair and he's a YouTuber. Does that count?
He's an exception. Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks.
You just like going to Atlanta because you're kind of in the kids category rather than
it's onto the Jack Daniels now. There's no place for me to go from here. It's like,
you need a shot glass.
I've got a glass one. I need a wooden one made out of pallet wood that'll kill me very soon.
Well, I've just spotted over in the chat, Gerald and Sterling. I'm asking about any future like get-togethers. Have you got anything planned for this year, or will you both be at Maker Central in the UK next year? Got any plans for that?
I can't think of any others for this year. If I can get the money together for Maker Central, I would love to come over and see everybody over there. But that's in May, right?
Yeah, that's May.
Yeah, May 5th and 6th.
All right.
What about you, Pat? Do you have any plans to try and get over there?
If I can have the money, I'll be there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not a cheap plane ticket. No, I mean, first of all.
Yeah, but maybe I'll raise up a GoFundMe saying I have cancer.
And then you can just kind of redirect those funds into a plane ticket. Sure.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's not for my shot glasses though.
No, there you go. Wait, there's the whole premise. I got cancer from Paul Jackman shot glasses. Start the GoFundMe with that, and then
lost that sponsorship.
But yeah, I'll try to make it happen.
Yeah, you can tweak the system however you'd like.
I can't wait to see what Joe does with the edit on that one.
That's gone completely. I'll change it for like getting to write a book about Richard or something.
That would take about 15 minutes max, guaranteed. Excellent. So while we've got Pat here, I'm going to throw these questions out to Pat as well, because I'm actually interested in the answer from both of you. So Paul and Pat, favourite tool? Because I'm going to start asking everyone, trying to get more people on Team Router. And what was your first tool that you can remember?
Pat, you want to go first?
Oh yeah, obviously my favorite tool is the lathe. And that's the first one I bought too. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. The lathe or the bandsaw. Yeah.
No, it's scroll saw. It's sound lost in translation. He's French. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll go with the lathe. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the lathe. Actually, I mean that's certainly what I know you for. But, what about yourself, Paul?
It's a hard one to pick. I'm just gonna pick my favorite is a wooden ruler, because I don't see a lot of people using that, so it's a unique one. And it's like the folding wooden ruler with the metal insert that slides out. I use it all the time because it gives you really spot on measurements. And the one that I have that I use, I actually got from my old high school, my vocational teacher, my carpentry teacher, and I'm still using it now. So it's special because of that.
I have a ruler like that. It was actually my grandfather's, Paul, and I never use it. I should probably break it out and use it, just because exactly for the reason you said. But I hang on to it for like sentimental purposes. I don't actually use that. I should though. Yeah, those things rock.
I actually did. I started using a folding rule probably just over a year ago, just for the odd thing, because they're just the best thing for measuring diagonals for cabinets and whatnot, because they don't bend in the middle and you get an accurate one. But I've found that when you go to these shows, a lot of them, companies have like these giveaways and like the gizzits to get you into their kind of booth and talk to you and try and sell you stuff, and they tend to be like the things that they have. I went to a show last October and I think I came back with about 15 of them. I was just basically ended up going around one afternoon getting all this folding, and I've got them everywhere in all my tool bags or boxes and all over the place. Yeah, it's a really good rulers. Those, I love them.
Maybe they're more popular over there, because a lot of the times our free giveaway is like a tape measure a lot of the time.
Well, I wonder if it's not a European thing actually. Yeah, I think you might be right there, because oh, nice.
Very nice. Do they come with free boots?
I think it's the other way around.
You know what, Richard? You're gonna kill me, and so is everybody else too. But as always, when we have awesome people on with us, time flies, and we've only got 10 minutes left. We have a giveaway to still do, so we're gonna have to wrap this up, guys. I apologize, but I'm not gonna thank Paul yet, and I may never thank Pat, but I mean, no, I will. Yeah.
Well, hopefully
that's why I love that, man. That's why I love my Pat. Go ahead, Richard.
Hopefully you can both kind of hang around a little bit for the sort of air quotes after party. But yeah, has Joe been kind of private messaging you, Chris, saying?
I
haven't noticed.
I've got a nudge in my ribs once or twice. Yes, so I have.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, so, okay then. You're probably right actually, because it is time always does fly and all the rest of it. So, Jamie, do you want to just run through the giveaway results very quickly? Very quickly.
I shall. Okie dokie. The winner of the TMA giveaway, the 1 year membership. Firstly, there was 349 entries, and the winner is from Cincinnati, Ohio, Justin Levine.
Awesome.
Ooh, that's a name that I recognise. Excellent.
We know Justin. We know Justin very well. Congratulations, Justin.
Okay, so yeah,
and
Justin.
And there you go. And you know what? And thank you to Izzy Swan and the Toolmasters Association for sponsoring us for the past 4 weeks and for making that a giveaway that we could do. So, Izzy, thank you so much, and Jesse, thank you for helping us coordinate that. And Justin, congratulations, man! I'm gled to hear that. Awesome.
Yep, without a doubt.
Good stuff. So, what does Justin need to do now, if anything? Does he need to contact
I've messaged the crew at TMA, and all I've got to do is give them Justin's email address, and they will be in touch with him soon.
Oh, wicked! Good stuff. Right. Magic. And also, we're going to be having another one very soon. It'll soon be time for another Mancrafting one, won't it? Will it? I don't know.
No, that's the October 29th one, and that brings up the other subject because we have a challenge going on. We have the Scroll Saw and Router challenge, and the Chad Mancrafting Makers International mug is the prize that's being held up for the Scroll Saw challenge. And we have our Makers International Polo T-shirt that's being held up for the Router Challenge. So, Jamie, would you like to let people know where they can find information on that?
Yes, you can find information to that either in the link below right now, or you can find it in the link below the SoundCloud link or the YouTube link when it gets put out when you're listening to it now on Wednesday. Or you can go over to makersinternationalpodcast.com, and in the top header, you will see a competitions bar, and it will be all the information you need there with the rules and regulations for Team Scroll Saw, Team Router, and all you got to do is enter your pictures to I think it's contest at makersinternationalpodcast.com, and that's basically it.
There you go.
Excellent. So basically down in the description or on our website.
Yeah, and should you choose to share your pictures on any kind of social media, use hashtag MakersINTL so we can find it.
Yep. Excellent.
I believe that's obviously optional.
We've already had an entry to one of those as well, haven't we?
And that is
got tagged in it.
And that is my shout out for this week. Richard Martin appears to be our first entry into the Router Challenge anyway. I don't know if he's submitted his picture or not yet, but he put out a video on what he did. He titled it the Halloween pallet wood. Oops, there's that word again. Halloween pallet wood router carving. And it deserves a look. If you haven't seen it, well done, Richard. Go take a look at that for Richard Martin, who appears to be our first entry into the Router Challenge. So good for him.
Excellent. Paul, do you reckon you'll be entering to one of these? Do you think you'd even have time? I'm not asking you to commit, so don't panic. Rabbit in the headlights there or anything. No is a perfectly acceptable answer, by the way. So,
I mean, I don't have a scroll saw, but I do have a router. So,
yay, Team Router.
Yay.
Just saying.
A man who knows how to maintain his sanity. Good for you.
Excellent. Well, I mean, Paul, you came on tonight. I hope you can stick around after we go off air for a little while, because I have actually got some other questions for you. But where, if any of our two listeners that are probably still with us, possibly still with us, where can people find you on the socials and the interweb and whatnot? So
sure, just go to lepicbois.net. Yeah, right. Everything's on there.
Excellent.
Alternatively, jackmanworks.com, but you know, kind of overshadowed by the other one.
I think we all are, to be honest. I think we all are. Excellent. So, is there anyone that you'd like to plug? Anything that you've been watching, or anyone you'd like to give a shout out to while you're here?
Yeah, I just want to say, go check out at podcast.com. It should be come up very soon.
But by very soon, you mean next year or the year after that, or?
No, I don't know yet.
One day, hopefully.
Yeah.
Wicked. Well, what?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Chris, what's everyone else been watching? You've obviously told us it's your one, but unfortunately, Alan hasn't obviously found a internet connection, so we can miss him off the list. But Jamie and/or Chris and/or Pat, what have you guys been watching?
Go on, Pat.
I'm watching nothing right now. Seriously, I'm working on my next videos. Oh, maybe I can show you something. Look at that. I just made it.
You think it's so special? I just made that.
Oh yeah, that's your blank for read, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
Nothing special.
I'm watching my own clips right now.
Well, I've actually been watching a series of videos this week. There was a challenge put out in a Facebook group, and the Facebook group is really targeted to people with small workshops, and they'll come up with the idea to make a magic wand. So everybody's got like a different take on how they make the magic wand. And there's a link in the description to the playlist so you can go through and watch all the entries. Some fantastic different makes in there. I don't really want to call out anyone specific, so there's no like favoritism, but there's some brilliant techniques: ebonizing, epoxies, resins, using nail polish and nail varnish. It's really interesting to watch all the different takes. So make sure you check those out.
Excellent. Well, I stumbled on a channel. My shout out this week is going to be a guy called, and I was going to grab his name, Stephen Davies. It's a guy in the UK, and I mean, it's just insane. This guy, it's a 3D printer channel, kind of, but not really. This guy was born with only one hand. He did engineering or some kind of making background as a profession, and he now, in his spare time, in his garden shed, he 3D prints prosthetic hands for kids.
Awesome.
Yeah. Now, think about,
Did we just?
And it's happened again.
Yeah, it's happening again.
Well, shall I do mine then while we're waiting for him to come back?
There you go.
Right. I've actually got a couple of shout outs, so I'll run through them quick. My first shout out is actually someone I'm listening to, and that's Donny Carter's podcast. It's the Green Woodworkers podcast. And yeah, if you have never heard of Donny's show, it's a great podcast, and he has some great names on there, and no hard feelings for having Carl on there before me, Donny. So yeah, you can find the Green Woodworker podcast on platforms such as SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. My second shout out is Chris Ahern from the El Cranky Workshop.
Hey, Chris.
And the video that I'm going to shout out in particular is titled The Cute Original.
Oh, God.
And the reason behind this is he done an awesome little speech about receiving a bottle opener from our beloved Chris Cute.
Yeah.
Which kind of begs the question: are you going into mass production over these as well as the cutting boards?
How, Pat? Do me a favor. In French, tell Jamie to kiss my ass.
It's pretty basic cue, Jimmy.
Thank you. So it is now in 2 languages, and I hope that makes the answer ring home there, James.
Topping up, Pat.
It's a tabernacle.
Yeah, tabernacle.
Well, I think Richard's connection has gone, as he puts it. Well, I won't put it the way he put it, but Richard's connection is history. So one of us is going to have to wrap this up. So I guess it will be me. Paul, thank you so much for being on with us today. It was very gracious of you to come by and visit with Jamie and tolerate with us. And and Pat, thank you as well for showing up today. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure for me too. But you said Paul, right? You said Paul, and it's actually my Paul. Just want to correct.
Pat Laps, Paul Jackman, we were happy to have on the show today. So yes. Paul, thanks so much. I've been Chris Cute, and you guys have a great week. Joe?
I've been Joe, Average Joe's Joinery, Makers International podcast that you're listening to, Jamie.
Is that Joe Whittaker? Hi, Joe.
All right, Pat, I see you there.
I've been Pat Latch, Jamie Page. You can find all my information at makersinternationalpodcast.com.
All right. Again, thanks for listening, everybody. You guys take care and have a great week. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
See you.